Hello everybody, and welcome to Timberwolf Brick Set's live show as we continue to build the Inferno. Let's turn the lights on here. I'm very excited to be here with you today as we continue to build our awesome and incredible mech. It is my pleasure to build this, and I got some really cool stuff for you. First off, what would it be if I didn't give you guys a bunch of really cool discounts? That's right, and I'm always doing that, ain't I? Let's go ahead and we're going to pull up the website. First off, have you joined the April Brick Set contest? Look at this. You have the chance to win the Longhorn, one of our new mechs that we just came out with last month. The Longhorn has an epic story, by the way. Go and check it out on the website. And you have the opportunity to win it. All you gotta do is jump in, enter the contest. It costs absolutely nothing to enter, and it can be yours. Get more entries by sharing it and daily check-ins, going through the contest page and liking our post on Instagram. Now, not only that, didn't I mention discounts? I got something special for you. Now, the Inferno, which we're building today, if you like this mech, jump in and grab it. Simply go to the website, add it to your cart. Why not grab our free model of the month, the Mystic, and then check out using coupon code INFERNO. You're going to save 25%. That knocks it down to $33.75. Plus, get free shipping on all orders over 99 bucks. I'm the CEO. I get to call the shots. I can give you the discounts. And if you like that, you'll love it. There's a couple cool things that I have today for you, including the first user sent pictures. I have a good friend, compadre, who created a couple neat mech pictures that he sent. This is from Androponics here, and this is a head for a mech that he's putting together. I really like this design. Got these Oculus sensors, aka eyeballs here, and we have a picture of the back. So here's the back of the mech. So Androponics, thank you for submitting this. This is a pretty cool head for a mech. Looking forward to seeing the rest of it. Whenever you do, send that picture over. Now, if you have some cool MOCs that you're working on, I want to see them as well. Hello, Angelina. Very nice to have you. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here with me. Now, if you got your own bricks, take them out. This is time to have some fun. Let's build together. And if you are a fan of this mech, like I said, you can jump in, add the Inferno to your cart, and check out with coupon code INFERNO to save 25% on it. All you have to do is go over to the website and search Inferno, and there you go. You can pull that up. Well, enough with our commercial conversations. Let's go ahead and jump into our build. Now, you see what we have here? We're working on the torso, and we have some side-mounted grenades. our torso armor protecting our key joints here, our hip joints, and what will likely be the beginning of the cockpit. The Inferno is a very special mech. And although we have a story here on the website, I have another tale to tell about the Inferno and its pilot, Hena. The Inferno is not just any mech. It is a mech born of battle. And Hena, a powerful and confident pilot, has wielded it several times, defending her hometown, defending her city. And this is the story of the Inferno and one of its pilots. Now I put this together here for you. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Now this story is about the Inferno, a powerful mech. The Inferno was a sight to behold. Its massive frame towered over everything else in the battlefield. Its red, gleaming armor catching the light and reflecting back in dazzling bursts. The surface was etched with intricate designs, each line and curve a testament to the incredible energy and engineering that had gone into creating it. But it wasn't just its size and appearance that made it so fearsome. It was the sheer power that lay within. Its systems hummed with energy, the sound almost like a living thing. Every movement it made was smooth and precise. Its armaments were a marvel of technology, each one designed to obliterate anything that stood in its way. The giant laser rifle was gripped tightly in its metallic hand. It glowed with an otherworldly light, the energy within it almost visible to the naked eye. The beam it emitted was so powerful that it could cut through even the thickest armor with ease. The beam saber attached to its back was equally impressive. Its blade was made of a pure energy plasma, and the hilt was encrusted with precise gems that glinted in the light. When it was activated, the saber let out a high-pitched whine, the blade erupting from the hilt with a flash of pink light. But it wasn't just the weapons that made Inferno so formidable. It was the speed and agility that it possessed. Its booster pack allowed it to leap great distances in a single bound, and its shoulder-mounted shield could deflect even the most powerful attacks. Its sensors were so advanced that it could track multiple targets at once, and its AI was programmed to analyze battlefield data in real time, constantly updating its tactics and strategy. And then there was Hena. She was the missing piece of the puzzle, the element that brought all of it together. She was a warrior born with a natural talent for combat that was almost uncanny. Her reflexes were lightning fast, and her instincts were razor sharp. She had been chosen for the Inferno project for a reason, and she knew that she had a responsibility to live up to its expectations that had been placed upon her. Hena had grown up in a world ravaged by war, a world where death and destruction were constant companions. The streets of her hometown were littered with rubble and debris, and the air was thick with the stench of smoke and burning flesh. She had seen things that no child should ever have seen, things that would haunt her for the rest of her days. But despite the horrors that surrounded her, Hena had always refused to give up. She had clung to the hope that someday, somehow, things would get better. And when she was chosen to be the pilot for Inferno, it felt like her prayers had finally been answered. As she sat in the cockpit, Hena felt a sense of awe wash over her. The controls were familiar, almost like an extension of her own body, and the systems hummed with a familiar energy that made her heart sing. she felt invincible. But as she marched towards an enemy encampment, the reality of the situation hit her like a ton of bricks. The world around her was a wasteland, a desolate landscape of rubble and ruin. And as she leaped over the remains of what had once been a thriving city, she felt a deep sadness well up from inside her. She had always known that war was brutal, that it left nothing but destruction in its wake. But seeing the devastation firsthand was a whole other level of pain. It was like the world had been stripped from all its color, all its beauty, and all that was left was a never-ending sea of gray. The mech roared, its engines sending up plumes of dust and debris. Hannah gripped the controls tightly, feeling the rush of power as the machine headed towards battle. The sound of its booster pack filled her ears. The enemy mechs were like a pack of ravenous beasts. Their metallic bodies glinted in the harsh light of the sun. They were fast, nimble, and their weapons were deadly. Hannah knew that she would have to be on her guard if she wanted to survive this battle. See, she swung Inferno around, bringing her giant laser rifle to bear. The weapon cracked with energy as she pulled the trigger, sending a spear of light streaking towards the enemy. It struck true, vaporizing one of the smaller mechs in a burst of flame and shrapnel. But the rest of the enemy were undeterred. They swarmed around her like a pack of hyenas, their weapons hammering away at her shields. Hayden gritted her teeth, her hands moving across the controls with lightning speed as she dodged and weaved, returning fire wherever she could. It was a furious dance, a game of cat and mouse played out on the ground. Hannah's heart pounded in her chest as she fought, her mind focused solely on the task at hand. She was a warrior, a guardian, a defender of all that was good and right in the world, and she would not let her people down. But even as she fought, Hannah could feel a sense of sadness wash over her. She knew that every time she pulled the trigger, every time she unleashed the fury of Inferno's arsenal, she was taking another life. She was sending another soul into the void, another family into mourning. It was a heavy burden to bear, but she knew it was necessary. She was the shield that protected her people, the beacon of hope that shone through the darkness. And as she fought on, through the pain, through the sorrow, through the never-ending cycle of war and death, Inferno's giant laser rifle continued to hum, a beam of pure energy lancing out towards the enemy. Hannah's eyes followed the path of the beam, watching it tear through the ranks of the smaller mechs, sending them flying in all directions. But more were coming, and Hannah knew that she couldn't rely on the rifle alone. She reached for the beam saber, unleashing it from its place in the mech's back. The weapon glowed with a fierce pink light, its edge powerful enough to cut through even the toughest armor. Hannah drew the beam saber. She couldn't help but think of her past. She remembered the day that she had lost everything, the day that war had come to her doorstep and ripped away her life. It had been a sunny day, much like this one, and she had been playing outside with her little sister when the first bombs had fallen. Hannah tried to protect her. She tried to shield her sister from the blast, but it had been no use. Her sister had been torn away from her arms in an instant, leaving Hannah alone in a world that had suddenly become hostile and cruel. The beam saber hummed in the Inferno's hand, a reminder of all that she had lost, all that she had been forced to give up in the name of war. But Hannah couldn't afford to dwell on her past, not now, not while the enemy was closing in. She charged forward, her booster pack flaring to life as she closed the distance between herself and the enemy. The smaller mechs darted around her, their movements quick and erratic. But Hannah was faster. She swung the beam saber in a wide arc, slicing through the enemy with ease. But even as she fought, she couldn't help but feel the weight of her actions. She never wanted this life, this endless cycle of violence and death. All she ever wanted was peace, to be able to live her life without fear or worry. But that dream seemed further away now than ever. As war raged on, there seemed no end in sight. Hannah wondered if she'd ever be able to put down her weapons, if she would ever be able to live a normal life again. Another mech reached her and was met with a swift slash from her saber, its cockpit exploding in a shower of sparks. Hannah twisted and turned, dodging incoming fire and slicing through the enemy with ease. Her movements were fluid and graceful, almost like a dance, and each strike was accompanied by a deafening boom that echoed across the battlefield. But there were too many of them, and Hannah knew that she needed to end this quickly. She reached for the hip-mounted missiles, firing them in rapid succession. The missiles streaked towards the enemy, exploding on impact and sending up a huge plume of smoke and flame. As the missiles launched from Inferno's hips, she could feel the heat of the radiating weapons. She watched as the projectiles soared through the air, leaving behind a trail of smoke and fire in their wake. Each missile was like a miniature sun, exploding on impact and sending shrapnel flying in every direction. The enemy mech were caught off guard, their sensors overwhelmed by the sudden barrage. Hannah grinned triumphantly as she watched them scatter, their movements panicked and erratic. She shifted the Inferno's weight, bringing the shield up to protect herself from any incoming fire. She could hear the whine of the enemy mech's weapon charging, and she knew that they were about to launch a counterattack. The first shot rang out, slamming into Inferno's shield with enough force to send Hannah stumbling backwards. But as she held on, gritting her teeth, as she absorbed the impact, the shield crackled with energy. It was barely able to hold out against the barrage. Hannah couldn't last much longer. Her enemies were too numerous, too relentless. She refused to give up, refused to let them defeat her. She brought Inferno's booster pack to life, rocketing toward, leaving a trail of smoke behind her. The enemy mechs tried to follow her, but they were too slow. Hannah weaved through the ranks, her beam saber flashing as she cut them down, one by one. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest, the adrenaline surging through her veins. The last enemy mech retreated. The battlefield flames limping around her. The last enemy mechs retreated, their battled frames limping back towards their base. Hannah watched them go, her eyes narrowing as she scanned the battlefield for any other threats. She had just emerged from a fierce battle, but she was always preparing for the next. Inferno had been her companion for months, an extension of herself, as they moved across the battlefield in perfect synchronicity. Hannah's fingers twitched on the controls as she took stock of the mech's remaining weapons. The giant laser rifle was spent, its power cells drained from the last barrage. The beam saber was still functional, its glowing blade a constant source of light, and the hip-mounted missiles had been expended, leaving Inferno with only its booster pack and shoulder-mounted shield. The enemy were regrouping for another attack. Hannah felt a sense of unease settle over her as she contemplated the incoming battle. She knew that she was outnumbered, that the enemy was preparing to launch a full-scale assault. She refused to let her fear cloud her judgment. Instead, she set her jaw and focused on the task at hand. As the enemy mechs came into view, Hannah felt a surge of adrenaline course through her veins. She watched as they swarmed towards her like a pack of wild animals, their weapons firing in unison. Hannah brought up the shield, using it to defend from incoming fire. She could feel the heat radiating off of it the strain on the power cells as they struggled to keep up from the constant barrage. She refused to let up, refused to give the enemy an inch. Inferno's booster pack kicked into life, sending the mech rocketing towards the enemy lines. Hannah closed the distance, the enemy mechs growing larger and more detailed with each passing moment. She swung the beam saber in a wide arc, slicing through dozens of mechs as they were made of paper. The remaining mechs turned to face her, their weapons charging with a final desperate attack. Hannah grinned ferociously, her eyes glinted with determination. She knew that this was the moment she had waited for, the moment she was about to prove herself as a warrior. The battle raged, Hannah and Inferno cutting through the enemy lines with a precision born of long practice. The sound of metal on metal filled the cockpit, the impact of the beam saber rattling out. Hannah could feel her heart pounding in her chest and sweat trickling down her back. And then, suddenly it was over. The last of the enemy mechs fell to the ground, their smoking hulks a testament to Hannah's skill and the Inferno's power. Hannah sat back in the cockpit, her chest heaving with exhaustion, but her spirit soared with triumph. As she made her way back to her hometown, Hannah couldn't help but smile. She knew that there were more battles to be won. But for now, she was content to revel in her victory, to bask in the glow of her hard-fought success. And with Inferno at her side, she knew that nothing could stand in her way. That story you'll find, once I post it up, you'll find that on timberwolfbricks.com. And be sure to check out all the rest of the lore that we have there. Now, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get to building. I hope that you enjoyed that story immensely. So as we continue our build, I have the instructions here, which I'm using off screen. And we are on step number 13. We have our pieces laid out around us. And we're just going to take it step by step. Now, if you have your own bricks, go ahead and take them out. Once you finish whatever you're working on, send a picture over to me. I'd really love to see what you have. The Inferno is just one of several mechs. If you go to timberwolfbricks.com, you'll see our full line of bricks there, our brick sets. And we have many, many mechs. We're also in the process now of launching some new mechs and some new military vehicles. We're going to have many new tanks, some new bases going up. So I invite you to jump in there and check them out and tell me what you think. If you like the sets that we have there, go ahead and message me. Tell me your favorite. And I'll do my best to hook you up with a cool discount. Hello, Kristen. Good to see you. I have two of my favorite people on the chat right now, which is pretty nice. Certainly am blessed to have good people in my life. That's for sure. So now we're continuing to put together the torso section here. Gonna take this piece. All right. put it together. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, my viewers. My day for a Monday was pretty good. Got a lot of work done. Got a lot of work done, and started some new projects at my job. If you are familiar, my day-to-day job consists of marketing. And I really wanted to have some background music ready for this, but honestly, I just didn't have time to get that together. It's a nice peaceful music. So you'll just have to deal with the silence sometimes. It is what it is. This is my third live broadcast, and I'm still getting it all set up. Here we go. And I really like how this is coming together. If you saw about 2 weeks ago, hello. If you saw about 2 weeks ago, I showed one of our new mechs called Hailstorm, and that's a really fun one. Hailstorm is over 630 pieces. Massive. Very, very big. And one of the things I really like about these models is they remind me of Gundam. And I grew up watching Gundam. I think we talked about that last week. Gundam is a mech-based anime with a epic storyline. Really a lot of fun. Here we go. Very nice. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find some background music. Free background music for streaming. Oh, here, I can adjust it over here. How does that sound? Can you hear my voice okay? Okay. Third day streaming, still figuring the whole thing out. I'll have to go back and listen to it. Jumped off work, jumped on this. Don't always have a lot of time to like prepare and get things together. Okay, music. Thank you. Music can be louder now. Okay, we're gonna turn it up. That's probably too loud now. There you go. How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I'm the Verizon guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Much appreciated. Yesterday, I had a little bit of fun. Went out and went bowling with some friends. A little good way to spend a Sunday evening, getting ready for the week. Not only was it fun, it's also at a discount. One of my very favorite things. If there's one thing I like, it's saving money. So we're continuing to build the torso section here. This will likely be where the shoulder connection is. We're going to have the arms coming off of here. Now, speaking of bowling, I'll be the first to admit I am not a pro bowler. Kristen, that's a very good question. So, who would win amongst the mechs in bowling? It's a good question. I'm going to say the Apex. If you go to our website, timberwolfbricks.com, you search Apex, you'll find Apex Prime. It is a massive mech, over 1,300 pieces, one of the largest that we sell, because it's the most powerful. I'm pretty sure if the Apex Prime were to just heave the bowling ball down the little bowling alley, it would probably not just knock down all the pins, it'd probably go through the wall, through the next building behind it, maybe destroy a couple cars in its way. That's who I put my money on. Apex Prime. Very good question. Wonderful. We got this connector here, which is going to connect to our head. And I think next time what I'll do is lay all these pieces out all out in advance, make it really easy to just get in a flow, put it all together. So I am not a pro bowler, that's for sure. I think my score last night was like 87, which legit is actually pretty good for me. I got to the party a little late, so just as I got there, a bunch of people left. That's okay. The people who stayed, really cool people. So now we have completed the torso section. Look at that. That looks pretty good. Bring that up. Gets a little fuzzy with this camera. Very nice. So I'm going to set this aside over here. Kristen says that's a bad score. It really is. The top person, Emil, he got 107. That was the top score. Second person was Heather. She got an even 100. We all thought she was going to win. She already claimed a victory. But Emil was the last on the list, and he got like 2 strikes and then another like 8 pins down at the very end, so he really came out on top. Very impressive. It's all good fun and good people. So now the next step we're going to do is start to put together the mech's head. Oh, he said not a bad score. 87? I'm no Big Lebowski, that's for sure. I'm definitely no dude. I appreciate your good wishes though. It means a lot. So now, let's go ahead and put these pieces together. as we continue to build the Inferno. And what are you up to? My viewers, what are you guys up to? I lost a viewer already, that's okay. Still hanging in there. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Let's see here. Continue to put this together. It's gonna be dinner time soon. What's on the menu? What do you guys got cooking? Chris says, just got home from work in time for the live feed. And leftovers. Hey, I like leftovers. That's what I'm talking about. What kind of leftovers were they? I made a quick lunch today, which consisted of spaghetti. Love me some spaghetti. Oh, ziti. Yummy. I know you like that. Real good. I was thinking about ziti earlier today, in fact, because I was watching The Sopranos, and you can't have a mob show without at least someone talking about ziti. I wonder what the future holds for this live stream. You know, this is just a good way to relax, work with your bricks. Right now we're streaming on YouTube, but eventually we're going to be expanding out to stream on Twitch and maybe TikTok as well. It's always fun to see these mech pieces come together, because sometimes it's surprising what turns into what. Follow the instructions, put it together. So you're reading a cookbook? I'd really like to know what kind of recipe you end up picking. That sounds good. Now, is this dinner party, would this happen to be your birthday? Is that going to be your dinner party? Oh, that dinner party. Okay, so not your birthday. Yeah, I know about that dinner party coming up. Really like to know what kind of recipe that you end up picking out. So here, this piece is going to end up being part of the head. over a bit so you can see my face a little better. Yeah, there you go. Now you have to tell me if the music stops because I may not even hear it. There we go. I'm just going to put the whole thing on repeat. So Kristen asked, what is Twitch? Twitch is a website where gamers stream. Which, even though I'm not a gamer, I can definitely use their website. It's kind of hard to see this piece here against the white background. These are my settings. So this is starting to become the head, and I think you can see what it looks like there. These are going to be the glowing eyes. They look really cool. It is sometimes hard to find these pieces on the white background. Oh, your son's doing his own live stream? That's awesome. I wonder how many people he has. Does he do that a lot? I used to build my own computers too. It's still super fun to do. What a fun hobby. There we go. Half of the head. What's going to happen is eventually I'm going to start running ads for this live stream. So it's not just going to be 2 people on it. We'll start to build a little community of people who are into MOC, like to jump on and build with us and submit their own models. Jump in. Timberwolf brick set models. Build a thriving community of people who like to build. That's what it's all about. Yeah, very fun. I hope your son has a lot of success with the streaming. Build up a nice audience, and that does take time. It does take some time. I'm sure there's probably some stuff I can learn from him, some tips and tricks. I hope to spread the tips and tricks to other people, help them become better builders. I really like how this model is coming together. And this is a very solid build. I really like that. Very solid build. Good tight pieces. I really feel like I'm being saved by the background music. Honestly, I can't stand here and talk for like a whole hour and just run my mouth. Not me. You know, it's the end of the day. It's really relaxing time. Time to chill out. It's a lot about preparation, preparation, preparation. Next time I'll lay out the pieces, make it a little easier, get into a flow. Yeah, I'm glad that you like the background music. That's going to be a regular addition from now on. I tried to get it together. I was going to have an app playing in the background. But this works really well, that's streaming right out of my computer. This is called Vaporwave. You feel vaped? You feel like you're in the wave? Cool, look at that come together. Neat. Look how that's looking. I'm gonna have to adjust my settings, make it a little easier to see, or maybe replace this with a gray background. I'm really glad that you like the music, because I can't even hear it. I have it totally turned down so that you can hear my microphone. I should listen to my own stream, but I'm too self-conscious for that. The last thing I want to do is just hear my own voice for an hour. I really like this mech. Blinded by the white. Have you ever heard that song? It's Blinded by the Light, actually. Close enough. Cool. Yeah, this camera is not the best camera for this type of up-close streaming. I may have to get another one. This one's really meant to have a couple feet between you and the camera, so this looks pretty fleshed out right now. Cool. The antenna. Really like that. And we have completed the head. So let's connect the two. There it is. Wonderful. Oh, I like that. Very cool. Okay, so we have finished the head, connected it to the torso. Really like how that is looking. You can see. A little tough to see, but you can always check it out on timberwolfbricks.com. And with that, we're gonna pause for the day. Pick this up next week as we continue our build and continue to improve this whole live stream. More people. Got music this time, that's a huge bonus. And I hope that you enjoyed the story about Hannah and the Inferno. I really look forward to seeing what you built. Feel free to message me on Instagram. You can also contact me through our website. If you submit a picture, post that up online with a little bit of credit for you. And I'll be seeing you next time. Thank you to all of my viewers. You make this stream what it is. Have a wonderful evening.